Welcome to the Church in the Wild podcast. You'll be hearing the words from worship from Sunday, August 31st, 2025, where we conclude our series on trees and discuss how they help us to be fully human. If you want to learn more about Church in the Wild and all of our upcoming events and programs, just go to churchinthewild.org. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, Barb's away for the long weekend. So I thought we would do, we're going to take some time to go be with a tree for meditation. So if we don't use all of our nature connection time, that's okay. But I thought if anybody had a favorite tree fact that we haven't shared yet, I know, Bill, you were talking about the overstory.
The what?
The overstory of trees.
Yeah.
Did you want to share more about that?
Just that trees, even here, there's like an ecosystem at the top of the trees that's completely separate from where we are. There are insects and birds that live at the top of the trees that never set foot on the ground. Their whole world is just at the top of the trees, from tree to tree. And like you said, in the Amazon jungle, it's even more prevalent. A lot of animals and insects and stuff that just live at the top of the trees and never even set foot on the ground their entire lives. Yeah. It's a whole separate ecosystem. And there's three of them, really. There's the top one, there's one in the middle, and then the one on the bottom.
Yeah. Yes, our friend Rich taught us about that.
Yeah.
Taught me that.
Thanks. Who? Winnie the Pooh.
And that's all this vast mind has right now. So.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, a tree fact.
Yeah, it's kind of a combination. When you forest, when you harvest, if they take out some of the oldest trees, that's actually what Susan Simard talks about, the mother tree. There's actual, call it wisdom, but there's a whole wealth of information that the mother tree shares with the other trees. You take that down and it affects the health of the forest. And along with that, when you clear cut and you what they call silviculture, when you plant rows of these trees and you see them coming up, there's a bunch of that up here further back, yeah. And you can tell they're not healthy. Those trees are sick. But what happens, a regular forest, when you walk in it, the pheromones and everything coming from the trees will actually lower your blood pressure. A unhealthy forest like you have back there will actually increase your stress level when you're there. And we actually are very, very closely related.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, fascinating. Oh, sure, go ahead.
It's going to say something interesting here. If you want to know what's it's going to rain, look at the trees. They actually got to turn their leaves around like a cup before it happens. Yeah, before the rain happens.
Yep, I've seen that actually.
Pass it over.
Yeah. I know we probably. Oh, hi, Kaden. I know we probably talked about it, but I like how the trees can signal to each other when danger is gonna happen or disease or stuff like that. Kind of like mushrooms as well, like the roots underground. They warn each other, which I think is a kind of a symbol of connection and community within the trees. They're looking out for each other and loving each other and hey, what's up, this is about to happen, be careful, you know what I mean? So I think that's cool. And then I've been seeing these videos recently, and I feel like maybe we should all do a little research because I don't really know. I haven't tested it yet. But on a day that's not windy, I've seen people speaking to plants and trees, and them the plants and the trees reaching out towards them because they're alive and they can they're sentient. So it's I've seen multiple videos because I've been yo, what? And that, yeah, they're talking to the tree, and it's if you're alive, come out towards my hand. And the trees down below, and by the time the video is over, the tree is touching their hand. So I don't know, I just think that there's so much more to trees than we know about, and they literally keep us alive. So I don't know, I think trees give us, they give us life. We need trees. So here you go.
Trees are the best. Thank you for sharing those fun facts about trees.
Yeah, don't take my word for it. Look up the video.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. You know, try it out. See what happens. Yeah. So that's actually a perfect segue into the poem today. This, so I'm resisting to the urge to like be silly about this, because we could be silly about this. But this is a gift that I feel like was given to me that I want to share with my people. So I mentioned at the beginning of this month that I have been working on learning to speak tree, which really just means sitting with the trees and being quiet and trying to quiet my mind and listen. And this brief poem is the one and only time that I felt as though the trees talked back. One of the trees in my yard, not my big grandmother maple, but the little sister maple next to her, I asked the trees, "Who are your gods?" Earth, breeze, and sun, the holy life giver, 3 in 1. I'm going to tell them, I said. They don't already know? No, a few. It's worse than you know, I said. We know. Listen.
Hermann Hesse's Trees, Reflections and Poems. A tree says, "A kernel is hidden in me, a spark, a thought. I am life from eternal life. The attempt and the risk that the eternal mother took with me is unique. Unique in the form and veins of my skin. Unique in the smallest play of leaves in my branches and the smallest scar on my bark. I was made to form and reveal the eternal in my smallest special detail." A tree says, "My strength is trust. I trust that God is in me. I trust that my labor is holy. Out of this trust I live. When we are stricken and cannot bear our lives any longer, then a tree has something to say to us. Be still, be still. Look at me. Life is not easy. Life is not difficult. Those are childish thoughts. Let God speak within you, and your thoughts will grow silent. You are anxious because your path leads away from mother and home. But every step and every day leads you back again to the mother. Home is neither here nor there. Home is within you. Or home is nowhere at all. A longing to wander tears my heart when I listen to trees rustling in the wind at evening. If one listens to them silently for a long time, this longing reveals its kernel, its meaning. It is not so much a matter of escaping from one's suffering, though it may seem to be so. It is a longing for home, for a memory of the mother, for new metaphors for life. So, the tree rustles in the evening when we stand uneasy before our own childish thoughts. Trees have long thoughts, long breathing, and restful, just as they have longer lives than ours. They are wiser than we are, as long as we do not listen to them, but when we have learned how to listen to trees, then the brevity and the quickness and the childlike hastiness of our thoughts achieve an incomparable joy. Whoever has learned how to listen to trees no longer wants to be a tree. He wants to be nothing except what he is. That is home. That is happiness. Join me in the response to wisdom. It's in your program. Trees invite us into the fullness of who we are. Amen.
Oh my goodness, what a month. We have had so much fun. I don't know. I've had so much fun talking about trees for 5 weeks. That's like the stuff of dreams. That's like why we are here. We created this space where we could do that. We have talked about trees as our plant ancestors, being here for millennia before humans showed up. Wise guides for us on how to live on this planet. They are also great examples of what it is to be a good neighbor, just being exactly what they were made to be and sharing freely and abundantly with everyone around. Sharing fruit, sharing shade, sharing oxygen. And of course we know maybe their greatest lesson for us is how much they share with each other underground. They make the choice when faced with a choice to save themselves or do something that would be better for the whole. Trees choose the collective every time. And that, I think, is maybe our greatest lesson to take from trees. But it's for all these reasons that, as we talked about last week, humans have understood trees as conduits, connectors to the divine. They help us come into a greater sense of presence with our shared creator. So we have done a lot of talking and thinking and being with trees this month, to the point that I do think we might have romanticized the trees a bit. And I'm okay with that for the most part. I think romanticizing things in life is part of what we get to do. And choosing to live an enchanted life, to walk around in wonder, is a better choice in my opinion. I'm happier when I make that choice than, to be very serious and questioning of everything. Or just sort of narrowed in on solely what we're thinking and doing. So maybe we've romanticized trees, and I'm okay with that. All the while we've been doing this and talking, our friend Valerie, who I've still been visiting, and she is excited to return hopefully at the end of September. She sent me at the beginning of the month a video from author John Green. He wrote The Fault in Our Stars. That's probably his most famous book, but he's got a podcast and he's just a brilliant thinker. I love the way he thinks and uses words. And so I watched this video at the beginning of the month, and you'll see why I kind of was like, oh no, what do we do with this? John Green said just last month, trees once caused a mass extinction. Did you know that? One of the greatest extinctions in the history of life on this planet. Over 3 million years ago, the life and death of the first trees caused phosphorus-rich soil to build up on the land. And then it washed into the oceans and lakes, which created a massive algae bloom that killed around 75% of marine species. Huge. Right, horseshoe crab has remained, right? But we think of trees, this is still John Green. We think of trees as still and gentle, as symbols of nature in balance, as the harmony to our disharmony. but they have also caused a lot of suffering. They have also become too powerful for the planet's good. And so I've thought a lot about this. And really, and sort of how does this fit into our romanticized view of trees and all this that we've talked about this month? And I'll tell you honestly, when I first heard him say this, there was a bit of shock and discomfort, but then there was a part of me that went, well, maybe there's hope for us too, right? Because if trees could cause this mass extinction and totally change the face of this planet just by their existence, we too have done that, right? We've caused mass extinction. We have changed the face of this planet, for better or worse. So maybe there's hope for us. Now, exactly as you were saying, around 300 million years ago, this is the time when life started to move to the land. And this is why, because there was soil, because more plants started to grow, and more ambulatory animals, like all the sea creatures who were dying, started to say, how can I figure out how to live on the dry land? You know, this algae is really killing us. And so that is when the evolution happened of more land creatures. How could the trees have known that just by being who they are would cause harm? How could the trees have known, right? How could we have known early on? And of course, there's the saying that when you know better, you do better, right? So we know better now. And maybe I'd like to think, if I continue to romanticize the trees, they've been through this. And I think maybe now they know better in some way, right? Now they understand the effect that they have on the rest of the world.
Easy down.
And trees can be our guides. I almost entitled this message, Trees Are Guides for Rewilding, because we're going to move into that topic for September. But really what I mean by that is being human. We can't be a tree, right? Unless we are cremated into one of those tree pods and planted and become a tree in our next form. We can't be a tree in this life. And so there is something important I always find when we're whoever or whatever it is we are looking to for guidance and wisdom, we have to be able to say, well, we can't be that. And I think this is an important thing in Christianity when we talk about Jesus. We can't be Jesus. We are called to be like him, to follow him, if that is your chosen path, right? But we're not going to be him. That's not our job to do. And the same goes for trees. Trees can help us. They can guide us to be more fully who we are, more human. So I want to share a little bit more of John Green's video. He says, one of my all-time favorite sentences comes from Annie Dillard's Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. She wrote, I am really here, alive on this intricate earth under trees. Because we are really here, alive on this intricate earth under trees. Even if you cannot see a tree right now, you are nonetheless under them. Trees are more numerous than people. Plants comprise 82% of the Earth's biomass. So seen from above, or indeed from the branching roots below the surface of the Earth, this is mostly a tree planet. Even after the radical deforestation of North America in the 18th and 19th centuries, even after the deforestation of so much land globally, this is still a plant planet. We are kind of a rounding error life-wise. So now, when I'm sad and on the edge of something worse than sad, I think to myself, well, at least there are trees. To me, to sit beneath a ginkgo, one of the oldest trees, and look up is to be reminded that we are a blip in the story of life. But also, what a blip. We are not just observers of life on Earth. As much as it may sometimes feel that way, we are participants in this life. And so trees don't just remind me how astonishing they are, they also remind me how astonishing we are. So the goal is not to become a tree in this life. Maybe we want to plan for that, right? With what's left of our earthly remains. But the goal is to use their wisdom, to take it in, to learn what lessons they have learned being here for so much longer, having gone through some of the same experiences humanity has gone through. Learning to speak their language again. I think humans used to know how to speak tree. As I've learned a little bit, as I've sat with trees and as I've shared, the one sense I get over and over again is the trees are just inviting us to quiet, to listen, to feel, to use all of our senses, to be still and know our God, right? The presence of trees invites us into this quieted, sacred space, a place where our souls might speak as the chatter of our minds quiets. So even though we won't be talking about trees every week forever, we'd like to. Even though we won't be, we can still keep listening to trees so that we might hear our own souls. We can still absorb their wisdom and guidance for us. Not so that we might be a tree, but so that we could be fully and exactly what we are, really here and alive on this intricate earth under trees. May it be so. Amen. I want us to try a practice that my friend Ellen shared with me a couple months ago. Ellen will hopefully be with us for Wild Roots. She's been planning this with me for several months and got very sick last month and has been in and out of the hospital. Nothing contagious, thankfully. So she's going to try to come and maybe just sit on the porch, for a few hours. But she shared, when I told her we were doing a series on trees, she said, I've never actually told anyone this, but I pray to the trees. And I said, tell me more. How? Tell me. And she said, well, I just touch a tree and ask for my prayers to be its prayers and its prayers to be mine. Like we can pray for each other's we can pray each other's prayers. And to think about how connected trees are to every other tree and everything else, That's a powerful practice that I want to invite you to try. And Carol has provided us with beautiful wish tags that you can write on and take one with you and leave it on the tree. And I would invite you to even whisper your prayers aloud. It might feel funny, but there's something about actually vocalizing it. Or you can, of course, think your prayers to the tree, but try it. Lean into the woo-woo with me this week and try whispering your prayers and asking the tree to pray your prayers, and then pause and listen so that you might pray the tree's prayers. And you can take a tag with you. So go, if you feel like it, go find a tree to pray with or ask the tree to pray with you. Yes. We'll take 5 minutes to do that.
Thanks for listening. If you want to support Church in the Wild and the work we do striving for environmental and social justice, you can head on over to our website, churchinthewild.org/support, or you can click on the donation page link. There you can make a donation, set yourself up to be a recurring supporter, or you can buy something from our Redbubble shop. We're so glad you're with us on this journey, following the Spirit through creation, adventure, and restoration. Until next time.